at the excuse me.
It was a slow process, wasn't it? It was a slow process.
I don't remember much about it. We did pay a trip back to Sandstone after the family was grown up because I wanted to see. Dad was on the Aurora Black Range.
A mine out there.
One of the mines that he had to supervise.
That's a harsh country out there, so it would have been very tough for a family, I guess, too, out there.
Oh no, I think in the mining communities they made their own pleasures and they...
Yeah.
My mother loved it.
Did she? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I think it was a fairly social life, wasn't it?
Very, yes. All the people used to visit.
Get together, yeah.
Have their afternoon of painting or sewing. Just different.
Would you have had radio out there in those days?
Oh no.
No. Telegraph?
No. Well, I suppose to a certain extent, but no, the communications were pretty restricted.
Were they? Yes. Yeah.
They had the train up there some of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know when it went through, but Dad did have a car, a mine car. Let him down one time and he had a long walk along the rabbit-proof fence. They weren't supposed to travel along the rabbit-proof fence. And taking a short cut, and they drove down.
Actually,
The chauffeur,
cheaply on farms. You could live fairly cheaply on
he
farms.
was
You had your
pretty
own,
distressed,
and
and
meat,
Dad
butter, eggs
walked
to start with.
quite a long distance. And the way he kept himself going was sucking a pebble,
Oh, yes.
just something to keep the
Moisture
saliva
in his mouth.
going in the mouth.
Ah.
And he managed to get to one of the huts for the rabbit-proof inspectors,
Oh.
or fence
Menders and...
yes. And they got back, well, by the time he got back to the car, George Lush, the chauffeur, was in a pretty bad way. His tongue was swollen.
Really, yeah.
Yes. But they got back all right, fortunately.
I guess with your father being the mine superintendent, you would have been fairly well looked after as far as, it sounds like chauffeurs and that sort of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. In the earlier days, it was horse and buggies.
Yeah.
Mother used to find it quite interesting when they went into the towns, into some of the other towns. They'd go with the escort, the gold escort,
Oh, I see.
the
With
mounted policemen
carrying
in
guns
front
and
and the back
Gee.
to see them.
watching out for
Through
bushrangers, I guess.
Yes.
Really, yeah, yeah.
But of course that was before my time.
Yeah. And your father, again, your father was on the Gwalior mine out at, and you were all out at Gwalior, at Leonora?
Yes. I don't know very much about that because, well, I was only the pip in the family. I was the middle one, and the mum knew all about the life up there because she was
A little older, yeah. So she would remember Hoover and those people?
I guess she would.
Yeah, yeah.
He may not have made a big impression as far as she was
No, in
concerned.
those days, no.
He became a big name later on.
And raising up 7 children on a farm would have been quite hard. 8 children, I'm sorry. 9 children.
Yes. That's what
You're talking
For Gran, you raising up with Grandpop and yeah.
Yes, the 8.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yes, well, now that they're all grown up, I think they're all pretty good.
Do you? Yeah. Well, I actually heard that Mum was the naughtiest of the lot. Isn't that true?
Fortunately, she wasn't too bad at all.
No.
Some caused me a little bit more worry. more anxiety for their safety.
Yes, yeah. Much the same as us with Mum and as
Very
well, I think.
definitely.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it would have been all work and a lot of work in those days to develop a farm and get it going.
Yes. You didn't go out a lot.
No, no.
But Auntie Margaret was our very big support.
Auntie Margaret Montague, yes.
I never knew how many of the family had arrived home if they went down to Auntie's.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, she was a backup, wasn't she?
oh, she was marvellous.
Actually, even I remember, you know, or as a youngster, Auntie Margaret being wonderful.
Well, she used to call in and dress the kids while I got ready for the CWA.
Yes.
And
So she could
otherwise,
go.
yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have had an outing.
No.
No.
No, well that was her way right through.
Yeah. I remember when I was expecting Ian. Remember I had that one where my throat was all, my mouth went all, yeah, and Auntie Margaret thought it was a lack of vitamins because of having the children so close. So she's bring all this tomato juice over, and I had to drink
when
it.
you was put under the bed.
Just making sure you got your nose.
And of course that was the worst thing because my mouth it was and I remember she used to call and pick up my washing too when I was expecting Greg, and I was, you know, when I was having the trouble, she used to call in and pick up my washing and take it home.
There's one incident I remember very much when we went over to your place, and that was two little boys making sandcastles.
Yeah, I thought of that.
Sandcastles with pure clean oil.
Oh, I wonder who they were.
I don't think oil would be the best thing for binding sand. I guess you never ever did that again.
No, we made a lot of other blues though later on, I think.
Yes, well, some you can be thinking with oil.
Yep.
No, when you think of that, I can remember, Mark reminded me of this morning. Somebody drew a hole in the tyre of the truck.
Oh, I remember those things, yeah.
And then his father said to him, why did you draw a hole? And he said, Mum said we could. And so he came and asked me.
Well, you know, there was a little boy had a brand new one of these little BMX bikes.
Oh, yes.
And Graham was saying, see that tyre there? It had two of the lugs cut off. A brand new bikes.
Yeah.
And he thought he couldn't make out what these were. Little bits of rubber. Anyhow, he got hold of the bike and investigated. He used a special glue and glued them on again.
They were hard days. They were hard days, those.
Young Blair had this bike.
Because wheat was only.
Graham said, did you use a knife on that? He said, no, I used a saw.
One day the rubbish bin man came and he told the bin man to take his bike and put in the...
Oh no, and did he do
Yeah, and Glenda chased him down round the street and got it back. Gone through.
No, she didn't. It had gone through.
Yeah, it had gone through. I mean, it was too late.
It was no
She said it
good.
was useless. But fancy, and the man says, well, the big boy told me. And she said, that big boy's 4 years old.
I didn't think he should have.
But knowing that little man, he could easily do it.
I wonder if the garbage guy probably took it home to his son, I'd say.
No, he had put it through the compactor.
Really? And crushed it?
Yes. He said, Blair said it was just a worn out bike. What was his name? It was just junk as far as he was
Yeah, because they
concerned.
had a new bike, so they...
I'll just swing around and
The cameras on there.
shut this off in a moment. This is a terrific thing. The only thing is it'll be very jerky and that sort of thing. But it's historical too.
500 pounds worth of fuel. Shell will only have 60.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Grandpop, I remember you telling us you had some old Harley Davidson motorcycles or Rudge Multis and that sort of thing.
I had a 1913, what was it, Triumph, with the 3 gears in the back axle. Well, that used to get me around all over the place. Quite okay.
The wheel ruts used to be pretty bad in the road, I remember you saying in those days, so you'd have to pick the centre of them.
Yes. I think only once or twice I came off. No, 3 times.
3 times.
On those. And another time I was following a big matchless, you know, and anyway, he took the corner all right, but there's someone there by sides, and he took the corner all right, and I thought I could do around the same, but I had a lot lighter bike, and of course I thought I'll take a little bit, and I was going a bit too fast, and I thought, well, I'll take a little bit more, and I had to get on the grass, and as soon as I hit the grass, of course, away I finish up hitting a darn tree and turn the footrest back like this. And I don't know where the handlebars are, they got bent at all, but I know I've got a cut across here somewhere.
No helmets, of course, way back then.
No helmets anyway. By the time I got the thing straightened up and out and on the road again, I never saw that natural again. Anyway, that was that. And another time I picked up a joker that was, I don't know whether he was working for Manual or someone like that, but he was carrying some, like he was on weld thinking or boring at the time, and he was carrying some jumpers in a bag, and he was on the back of the bike, and I was going all right, and there was a long, only about 100 yards, what had been newly, not long gravel, but the 2 wheel tracks was okay. I could go through on them, and if this stupid blighter, instead of him gripping me here, he gripped me by the shoulder, you see, and going through this. And I'd have gone through all right even then, only the blighter, he let his foot down and scraped the side. Well, of course, you get pulled off down. Anyway, of course, that shot us off, and make matters worse, he landed on top of me and scared along with he tore my trousers down the side there. And anyway, I got out, when I got up, I told him what I thought of the blighter. I think I took him on as far wherever he was.
Some of them riding pillion wouldn't lean with the bike, would they?
They'd
like to keep erect, they wouldn't lean with the bike.
It was, if he'd gripped down me, you see,
you'd be right.
But you get someone on your shoulder,
Too right.
Pull your shoulder.
Yeah.
You can't steer your bike with it because he's pulling on your damn shoulder. And
What was well boring like in those days, Grandpa? That would have been hard work, I should imagine. And
it was, I think, but we were in darn good nick at that time.
Yeah. Good physical condition. Yeah.
Yes, we drilled down and we could do, well, around about 40 foot. I think one jet was a soft going. We put it down about 60 foot in the day, run into the water probably at about 30 or 35 and went through to 60.
So you've got to bucket the water out as you're digging it, I suppose?
Well, you've got to pull up, we used to have rods, about 5/8 rods, and reduce 2 of those you remember the hammer wrench thing, like a bit of a hammer, where you had two of them, but you just had a thing that would put set them the right thickness, and you grab, you lift it up, you just get this and lift up, and get a grab, and as soon as you got up to where there's a joint, you just one would grab and the other one and get his spanner and undo it and lay that one down, and then I put it out, bring it up to about 17 foot in length for 16 or 17.
Each length.
Each length. We had two short ones, about a 6 and a 10, or a 7 and a 10, whatever it was, you know, that was for starting. But once we got down a bit, we used to just use the long ones, you know, or we'd have to probably use a short one while we
Dad, do you remember going over and meeting Gran and Grandpop and asking him about marrying Mum? And that's it?
I think I still do. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any stories there? I guess you two were seeing each other at dances back in those days and that sort of thing. Is that the case, Mum?
Oh, he probably expected it.
You can answer all those questions.
The first night your father came, his car broke down, didn't it?
At
At
Yes,
our place.
when he was leaving, he had said goodbye, and this went on for quite a while, and I said, for goodness sake, go and tell him there's a bed in there.
So, Dad, you were farming on the next door farm. You came up.
It wasn't next door.
Oh, a few miles.
Yeah, at Kerwin.
Yeah. When was that you went up there? You were share farming out that way prior to that.
Oh yeah, so I was share farming at Emmons, but I went up there in 1952.
Yeah.
Long while ago now.
Yeah, it is quite a while ago.
Yeah. Do you remember Dad asking to marry Mum, Grandpa?
Yes, I probably said, well, he has no choice, and we'll give him our blessing.
Yeah.
Grandpa was much kinder to him than I was, because I had a lot of pleasure afterwards in recounting how they brought us a cup of tea first thing Sunday morning, and they were going to a church service over at Dalwallinu. And your dad came out and he said, would you like another cup of tea? Oh, I said, yes, please. So he went and got me another cup of tea, but he hung on to it. And then he put the question.
Did he?
And I wouldn't never get the cup of tea. But anyhow, he was very welcome into the family.
Actually, I remember really strongly, Gran, coming over to your place as a youngster, and you used to always have that bed on the back veranda with the blind, and jumping into the bed and playing around and that sort of thing with you and Grandpa. Wonderful times as a youngster.
There was one time I remember your mum and dad were going to a service down at Cadoo. I think it was a christening service for some of the younger ones, and you were to stay with us, and you had no intention of your father and mother shooting off down there without you. And you were quite okay, and I let you go, and you were down and over that fence like a shot.
Oh, I remember that.
Actually, he really was a good runner when he was young, wasn't he?
Good hurdler too.
Actually, that was unbelievable. That was
I remember often running into the Grandpop in the lounge room and running up, and Grandpa would pick me up and throw me way up in the air, and that used to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
Your dad would say, you ready to go home now, Mark? And you say, no, I want to play with Grandpa. You'd have your game of being caught, and then you were right for home. So,
You're going to show us some of your video, and then we'll go home.
Okay.